Okay. Is it working? Great. No. How's that? No. I can't hear myself. Okay. Okay. How's that? Okay. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. My buddy Kevin told me I shouldn't say any word, just turn. So, okay. Are you ready for me to start? Okay. I'm Brian Evans. I'm going to turn the pedestal or the column. When I got here tonight, I didn't know one of the most important things, and that is the depth or the diameter of the mortises. And you can see on this one that we did that I also didn't have the right diameter, and so it does not fit well. So make sure that you've got, I fit those off a hole. It turns out, as Charlie said, all three bits were different size, so it didn't work. Anyhow, where's that other piece, Charlie? The other piece that you made to support the top. Support the top. Oh, no. There's a hole. There it is. There it is. Okay. So, as you can see, this looks very precarious. And if you put a heavy glass on it and a cake, it just didn't look like it was going to work at all to us. And so we redesigned it. Charlie made an extra piece to fit underneath. And then I redesigned this so we have, it's larger here, and then we have a lot more surface on the tenons. So that's what we're looking at. So tonight we actually have a drill bit to go from. And as you'll see, as I said, when I got here, I didn't really know the length of the tenons. Charlie just drilled this one, so I didn't know what it was going to be. So I prepared a piece of wood that's a little extra long. And we'll just put this right. Just extra long. And let's just make sure everything's good here. Okay. And we'll have to cut that off. Now, usually in spindle turning, you do not want to make things extra long. Generally, length is your enemy. Okay, so what we, in this case, okay, I've got a little, I don't have to mark very much on this. You might do some more if you were making multiples. So what I like to do when I'm turning is to create somewhere to go. Okay. And so right now I'm cutting down to 1.5 inches, which is going to be the diameter of the flats. The flats that go around the, you can't see much here. There we go. The flats that are going to be on either side of the little cove that we made. We're going to clean that up. Okay, now I'm going to come in and try to get this nice and clean. when you're cutting like this is a beading and parting tool. You could use a parting tool, you could use a badan. But in making this cut, you're cutting just with the tip. Now I can't really see down in there, so we'll just have to hope. So now we've got ourselves somewhere to go. Okay? And we'll create this half bead. There's no light over here, so who knows? Okay, and this part is actually 1/8 of an inch shorter, so there's no use in measuring that. We'll just can you see okay? Am I in the way? Can you see everything? Okay, while I have the gouge in my hand, I'm going to go ahead and create a cove over here. We're also going to be creating somewhere to go. Not supposed to do that in front of folks. This lady, Sharon, had trouble with it because she thought it was too high, but it's way too low for me, and I have a hard time seeing down there. Okay, this is supposed to be yes, maybe. Let's see what we got. That's close. Okay, now we're going to cut this little cove right here. And I like to go ahead and get rid of some waste before I start. I'm sorry? Oh, sorry. I can't really see down in here, but there we go. Okay, so when you finish this cove, you want to make sure that it is curved in the bottom. You don't want it flat. And that was probably good enough right there. Okay, so now, you remember when Jimmy Clues has done demos here, and he has made a lot of bowls and platters with an oji. Okay, so I use this as sort of an example. So we had a block of wood like this. He did not start, well, to you, it would have been this way. He did not start here. So you'd been turning like this. He didn't start here and go like that. First of all, this wood was like this. He made about a half of a cove right here. Then he came down to meet it. And that's what we're going to do right here. So it doesn't matter what tool you use. Right now we'll just get some, we'll get rid of some wood. I've had people ask me what an OG was, but it's just a bead and a cove meeting. This is just a roughing gouge. And you can see you get a fairly good surface there. I have brought I was going to skew it and stuff, but I think I'm not. That's ready for, there's all kind of tools you can use for this. Really the thing that's going to give you the best surface is a skew, or a tool that I like for things like this is we call it a European spindle gouge. But this is what everybody used before the advent of the round ones. Okay, and while the round ones work really well for beads and coves, if you're going any distance at all, this one, because it's wider, actually gives you, it really works better. Gives you a nice cut. Now the thing about it is, don't run out and try to buy one. First of all, you probably have a hard time buying one because people don't turn spindles in the United States. So they're not really for sale. This is an English tool, and I hit the wrong one. There we go. So we are about, let's see. Well, I couldn't see what I was doing there and went a little too deep. I'll see if I can fix that. Anyhow, that's, if you are ever at a garage sale and they have an old Buck Brothers just, it won't be this kind of steel, but this is the same profile that you can find for just a couple of dollars of Buck Brothers tools. So you could get one and use it here, and it just, you know, you have to be careful when you're sharpening it, but they cut very nice. And for a long expanse like this, if you don't like to use the skew, it's a good choice. So we are through. Now, I have, my wife would tell you, terrible tendencies toward trying to perfectionism and drive her nuts. And I used to. There's a couple of little places here where you, at one time, I would have tried to get this perfect off the tool. But I have been around some production turners, and then, of course, we get to see them on the internet now. On the YouTube, you can see Woodturner 21. They don't do that at all. They do not spend an extra 30 seconds or minute or 2 minutes trying to get every tiny little thing out of the, if it's long as it's turned correctly and you don't have torn grain. Okay? You can sand this just right in about 12 seconds. Okay? So why fool with the others? So if you've got the correct profile, now the one thing you've got to be careful about, you don't want to screw up your profile, sanding, and you also, see, I've got a nice sharp corners right here. Well, I don't want to sand those over, so you've got to be careful, but there's a time to stop, and you don't have to be perfect off the tool. So any questions about that? I'm going to move on to the tenon, which is going to be not too exciting here. So let's see what we can do. First thing I'm going to do is this is just waste. Since I didn't know how long the tenon would be, we'll just get rid of that. Okay. So, I've got a couple of things to help me. There's a lot of different ways to turn tenons. And you can just use one of this. You can use these for the fitting. Sorby has something that attaches to a bedan that will help you turn it. So I am going to use this to get close and then try to come on. Okay. Now we have half. So here we have some waste wood with a hole drill in it with the bit. And then it's handy to have half of one. That tells me we're not close. The calipers, you don't want to push them. You just let them fall through like that. I may have set them a little. Yeah. That's nowhere close. This is sort of like fitting a lid on a bowl. You just want to make sure you don't get too excited and get it too small. Now I'm going to tell you, if this were my lathe, I would do both of these till I was close, and then I would take it off the lathe and see how each tenon fit through here. But I don't know about this lathe, whether it's, you can only do that if your lathe is set up really well. Whoop, I tried. And the 2 points meet. Your headstock and tailstock have to be in perfect alignment. If I were to stop the lathe, take this off to measure, and these 2 points were not in perfect alignment, when I put it back on, chances are that I would then be in a different plane, and I would ruin the piece. Okay, so let's just see where we are. In this, I don't know about this lathe. So that's why I'm being careful. And you can have to be careful when you're at home. Rats. Well, okay, that's a pretty good fit. And let's check this. This. Okay. So now all there is to be done is to take off the waste. And we're done. You know, I guess I won't do that because it is going to need sanding. So I believe I'll leave it just like this. The last thing you need to do is to find something straight and measure. Look here. Look and to make sure that it's either flat here or you have a tight little bit of undercut so you don't have a gap. And that looks good. I'm sorry? No. Because I've got the hole that Charlie drilled plus this. So that is... No, I mean the hole that Sharon drilled plus this. Okay, so it looks like it's too long, but we have this added in. So really it's going to be just that long. So it really, I think, is a good addition. So it'll look like this. And I'll just... So let's see if I measured correctly. Okay, I believe I measured a little short, but it'll be very easy to sand off the tenon. So we're done. Okay. What's that? Actually, well, I can take it off, and then we can figure out another way to sand it. I'll just do that. I'll cut it off. Whoop, whoop. I don't ever do that. I always saw things off, but I was trying to hurry. So let's see what we got. 12 minutes. He only gave me 12 minutes. And okay. Can you see this? Okay.
Now is the time to serve the cake.